Hey guys, it's Dirt Track Boys with you today. I just want to take you down memory lane because the last time we discussed stuff, I told you I was going to show you my point of view from how Bristol used to be, and you know, the tracks that of what it looks like today. Well, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to show you this is Bristol back in the middle 90s, before they redid the whole grandstands. I'm going to go probably say this was about 91, possibly. You know, here we go. We got pictures of the old high banks. This is when they were testing. I believe this was before the 92 races at Bristol. They were testing out the concrete because in 92 they had added concrete. 1991 was the last year that they ran Bristol with the old asphalt, or with asphalt before they concreted it. They realized that concrete would do less damage to the tires, and at the time concrete was the way to go. I mean, concrete was expensive for Bristol, but at the time it was Larry Carrier and you know, the old president of Bristol Motor Speedway. That was the way to do it. Sorry about the glare. So this is a picture of the new asphalt, of the new concrete. I keep saying asphalt. Sorry, y'all. Picture of the new concrete and the new asphalt down on the track as they were testing it from the infield. And like here, you know, you see more of the new asphalt and concrete as it's being ran. Now, this particular photograph I'm going to show you guys because I was at Bristol. Like I said, this had to be between the early 90s. I was at Bristol. Now, everybody's seen Bristol, known it as the Concrete Canyon and the last great Coliseum. But this is Bristol before it was converted after 96 into, 95. I mean, it still had the upper grandstands, but this is all before it had grandstands all around the speedway. If you look in the background here, y'all can see farmland, and I mean, yes, I said farmland. They allowed parking back there, but it was free parking at the time. But this was all farmland back there in the background. And let me see if I can't get a better image here. If you guys remembered the Busch race from 1991 at Bristol Motor Speedway, you'll remember the crash, the gate that they moved, that Michael Waltrip hit in what was then called the Busch Series race at Bristol. This is the gate, as you see the one of the haulers back from the day entering or exiting out of the speedway. This is the gate that Michael hit. Apparently what happened was the gate wasn't securely latched, and I guess it flung a little bit open. See, they had the wall there, but it wasn't, they didn't have the gate. They thought they had the gate. I mean, I guess over time, you know, with the wind of the cars, Michael's car had gone by and all the cars had gone by and had enough yaw and enough pressure to release that gate, and it opened a little bit. Michael's car slammed into it. I mean, by the end of this wreck, you could not tell it was even a race car. But this is the gate that Michael hit in that Xfinity, in that NASCAR Busch Series race. So and oh, yes, one other thing I'm going to mention to y'all. You know how Bristol has the wall all the way around the infield now? Back in '90, they didn't have the wall all the way around the infield. They only had this gate down there. And they had grass at Bristol. Now they don't have grass at all. They had just that infield, you know, just that right there. That was all they had for the infield. Well, see, back then the cars weren't as well. They were low down, but they were only the one groove. They weren't as, well, I can't say they weren't as fast, because they were, but you know, they were pretty big back then, so they weren't as smaller as they are now, and more, I don't know. But anyway, that's before the I mean, they had the wall down the you know, down the front and back stretch, just not in turns 1, 2, and 3, just not in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You know, basically the wall didn't go all the way around like it does now. And I mean, once you hit that wall, I mean, that was back then, that was straight concrete. There wasn't no safer barrier at Bristol back then. I mean, once you hit the wall at 115, 117 mile an hour, it was straight up concrete. I mean, there wasn't no safer barrier at Bristol Speedway. And yeah, I still call it Bristol Speedway. So and right here is the, you know, the picture I took of, or my dad, I think it was my dad, took of the new infield back, you know, when they concreted the inside of Bristol Speedway. You know, the pit area, back then it was the Unical 76. Here's another picture of the infield. Now, as you can tell, Bristol ain't got a garage area because the track's too small to put a garage in it. So you're working basically right in here. Like if your car messes up, this is where you're working at. You're working right here on the inside here. I mean, you're not working in no garage area. I mean, you got 30-something cars running for, you know, wrecking, and you're using this infield. That's all you're using. Now, during practice and qualifying, they'll open up the pit area, and they'll just use the pit area for, you know, for a race in Bristol. Or they'll work on the car during practice and qualifying. Now, that's pictures of how Bristol looked from my era. If you guys think that they should never have done nothing to Bristol, please comment to this video, because I'm thinking the more tracks they screw up with this progressive banking stuff. Now, I don't understand the progressive banking at all. I really don't. But in my eyes and book, it's already it's ruined. To me, they have ruined a very good thing. The old saying by Darrell Waltrip, if it ain't broke, why are we fixing it? I thought Bristol, because see, concrete is meant to last a long time. 2007, they should have never tore up that concrete to redo it with this progressive banking stuff. Now, Bristol has never been two grooves. It's just been forever been the only one single groove track that has always been accustomed to. That's just how Bristol used to be. And argue with me, love me, hate me, don't matter. I don't care. You can still say Bristol's Bristol in your opinion. But in my opinion, on dirt track, boys, I'm telling you, it ain't Bristol. It ain't the same Bristol. And I've heard rumors. Now, I don't know how true, because you know how NASCAR throws a rumor out every time. I've heard rumors that we ain't going to the dirt next year. That they are talking about going to a night race in the spring. I would love to have a night race at Bristol in the midsummer or the mid-spring, because if y'all have been to Bristol as many times as I have, I've lost count on how many times that I've been to Bristol Speedway. But if y'all been to Bristol like I have, you'll realize that Bristol Motor Speedway is a concrete canyon. And to win at Bristol is very special. Especially to sweep the year. If you win both races in Bristol, you've done something fairly well. But if y'all think Bristol's still good, that's fine. I agree with you. Bristol's still Bristol. There are still tempers flying and still tempers to be flared. But it ain't the single groove, you know, bump, bam, slam, and banging. I mean, yeah, there's still that. But what I'm talking about, back in the 90s, you had no groove up top. If you went up top, you made your own lane and you made your own fate. Like, you know, there have been so many Bristol moments that I've witnessed, that I've been a part of. You know, one of my favorite Bristol memories, everybody calls it the bump and run. Well, I call it the dump and run. You know, there's certain races that are considered that. Now, in 1995, 95, Terry Labonte was leading with a couple, very few laps to go, probably less than a couple, probably about a couple laps to go. Dale and Terry are going at it. Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt, God rest his soul. Terry Labonte was going at it with Earnhardt, and Terry comes off turn 4 with Earnhardt right on his bumper. Well, Earnhardt was trying to dump him out of turn 3, and he couldn't get to him. So coming to the final lap, coming to the checkered flag, Earnhardt dumps him. That's called the dump and run. Well, Terry spins across the finish line, won the race, slammed the wall, hit the wall head first into the fence. Terry gets the car up to victory lane, and he goes, "Man, that's the weirdest way I've ever won a race is hitting the wall after we got the checkered." And then a couple of years prior to that, 99, Dale's at it again. This time he bumps him on the backstretch. Dale comes back around, wins the race. Then, the famous line in the interview, "I didn't mean to bump him, meant to rattle his cage." And then they interview Terry Labonte, and Terry says, well, the interviewer of the media asked him, he said, Dale said he didn't mean to bump you, he meant to rattle his cage, or meant to rattle your cage. And Terry was as calm as he could be, calm, cool, collected as he could be, and says, "When does Dale mean to bump anybody?" I mean, those are my two favorite Bristol moments. And, there's a bunch of them, like the famous 2012 Tony Stewart helmet throw with Matt Kenseth. The Dale Earnhardt Jr. sweep the weekend, the first sweep. And then Kyle Busch, with the sweep. I mean, Bristol's had some iconic moments. Don't get me wrong. But if you dirt the track next year, so help you God, you won't have nobody watching it, because you can only dirt Bristol. I mean, yeah, those 2 times, the 3 times that we dirted it, yeah, maybe. But you know how something loses its luster? Like, hey, this is a pretty good idea, let's do it. And then a couple of years go by, and you realize this ain't how we intended this to be. That goes to my point I said a few minutes ago. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just like in 07, when they redone the concrete at Bristol. If it ain't broke, quit fixing it. Because I think NASCAR wants to break stuff until they think they got it fixed. Now, granted, taking the old concrete out of Bristol in 07, that was probably the dumbest mistake we ever done. And concreting it, great, perfect idea. But reconcreting it in a recalibrated way where it ain't the same consistency we've always seen. I remember these races prior to 2007. They were the most fantastic races I ever saw. But up until 2007, in my eyes, I think you have ruined the luster at Bristol. I mean, it's still great flag-to-flag coverage. Don't get me wrong when I say it's still good racing. But the thing I miss is that single one groove where it makes it hard as hell to pass, hard as hell to drive for 500 laps. And I have been noticing that there have been so many changes in Bristol. And good and some bad. The most are the good changes. Like in 2017, we got the Colossus, which is this massive TV that's got like 5 screens on it, which is awesome. I love it. I missed the old scoring pylon, but the Colossus TV took that place, and it made it got it up in the air more, so people wouldn't hit it, wouldn't run into it. Now that I have actually seen where that is. Next time we go up to Bristol, which hopefully won't be very long. Next time we go to Bristol, I will show you guys where the old scoring pylon is. If y'all know the Kingsport area and near Johnson City area, it's at the Volunteer Speedway up in Kingsport. Straight up 11E. That's where the scoring pylon is. Like I said, we'll do a live video up there here. I don't know when, but we'll do one. Just due time, guys. I'm sorry, in due time. Hopefully, it won't be long before we do one up there. But you know, we'll definitely try to get one up there for you, and we'll do one. But I just want to know what your all's takes are on, you know, Bristol Speedway, and I just want to know what y'all think of it. I mean, is it the same that y'all remember, or is it better, or is it worse? To me, it's in between. You know, to me, it's like, I like it, but I don't love it. You know what I mean? And when I say I like it, but I don't love it, it's one of those, it's a toss-up. You know, it's still awesome racing. It's still the, you know, Thunder Valley, you know, feel. But it's not, they don't need progressive, in my opinion, they don't need progressive banking at Bristol. You don't need to progressively bank the track. I mean, if you bank the track, I mean, 36 degrees of banking is awesome. It's fine. But don't keep screwing it up. Because eventually, you keep messing it up, it ain't going to be Bristol. It's going to drive like something like Dover. We all know how boring as hell Dover is. So anyways, Dirt Track Boys, I just wanted to know what your all's opinion was on Bristol. And, you know, it's about one of my favorite tracks because it's in the area that I'm from here in Tennessee. You know, it's just about basically 2 hours up. Basically, it's just 2 hours up I-40. It's pretty damn close. And it's one of my favorite speedways. And I just love Bristol. And I just want to know what y'all's opinion of it is. And if y'all have one, I'd love to hear from y'all. But basically here at Dirt Track Boys, we do mostly on this channel. We mostly focus on racing. You know, and I'm sorry we don't have any live videos of us going to racetracks and all that. but we'll eventually get there. And just economy and cars. We don't have a car right now. But I just want to know your opinion on it and see what y'all think of Bristol. And is it still the same? I mean, is it still the same butt kicking racetrack? That everybody's mentioned of. And I mean, is it still? Are we still able to run here? I mean, are we still able to, do things that most men can't here at Bristol? I mean, because to me, Bristol is one of them speedways where Bristol is one of them speedways that it makes you or breaks you. And if it breaks you, you'll end up getting in the fence, and you'll end up, Now, there's this caution clock, and I don't understand it. I don't like it. Y'all seen what I'm talking about. There's this thing called this caution clock. If you can't get your car out by a certain time, within, 3 or 4 minutes, you're out of the race. I'm sorry, that needs to go away. You can't fix your race car in 3 minutes. You can't fix a busted toe link in 3 minutes. You can't fix a busted rocker arm in 3 minutes. But I don't understand why we're having this caution clock. I mean, to me, it's pointless. Especially Daytona, anywhere, it's pointless. Now that we've gotten rid of the stages at road courses, what do y'all think about getting rid of the stages at all the racetracks? Because to me, those stage breaks are what causes accidents. The stages are what causes the melees. They are the worst decision NASCAR adapted to in 2017. Yes, it's been since 2017 that we've had the stages. I can't believe it's been 5 years that we've had that. But if you look at it, prior to 2016, we didn't have these stage breaks. Yeah, we had cautions, but we didn't have these stage breaks. I mean, I understand it was good for the sport at one time. Like I said before, I think it's lost its luster. It's lost its what it was meant to do. It was meant to keep, the races at a minimum. It was meant to keep the long. It was basically created. The stages 1, 2, and 3 were basically to keep the audience, the younger audience, in format of what was going on. Because your old guys like myself, I'm 40 years old, that's why I know this. Your old guys are ones that don't care about stages. You knew how many laps to go. Because a lot of you had those, and still do. I even use scanners when I go to a race. And, they'll know, I mean, they'll tell you how many laps to go. They would say, all right, 37 to go, 40 to go, 15 to go. Some drivers, now I don't know now, but some drivers, drivers like Mark Martin, who I used to follow, and I still like Mark, don't get me wrong, I still love Mark Martin. But some drivers like Mark Martin, when I used to watch him race, would want to know, but now he said this, he didn't talk much, but his spotter told him, you know, bottom, clear, left, clear, clear, low, bottom, 30 to go, 29 to go. He would let Mark know how many laps to go, because Mark wanted to know how many laps were left. Even starting from lap 1. Like, say you were in Bristol. Starting at lap 1, Mark would, his spotter would tell him, you got 400 to go. You know, and, you know, for 393 times, or 500 times, Mark would know how many laps there were in the race, how many laps to go. Some of your drivers are still like that. You know, Kevin Harvick is like that. I've listened to his spotter. Danica Patrick was like that. Haley Deegan is like that. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. You know, they want to know where they're at, and they want to know how many to go. Not all the time, but during good points of the race, they want to know how many laps are left. But speaking of Haley Deegan, I'm telling y'all, she is probably one of the most willingest drivers that want to learn stuff. She wants to learn. She wants to be able to point stuff out and know things. Now, you make her mad, I get that. Everybody gets mad. But Danica Patrick, don't get me wrong, she was a great Indy driver. But she would wreck somebody to wreck somebody. Now, Haley, on the other hand, if she gets in a wreck and it ain't her fault, she'll confront you about it. Like, we went to Martinsville in 2021. And I remember Haley we were at the truck race. And I remember Haley saying, talking to, don't know who's, I think I was talking to Lawless Allen, who's also a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver. Talking to Lawless Allen. Got a confrontation started, or he got a confrontation going. She's like, hey man, what in the hell was that shit? You know, I don't appreciate that. I didn't do anything. I was racing you. I wasn't trying to hit you. Now, y'all know Martinsville's a paperclip daggum racetrack. It's tighter than it's tight. I mean, it's like you're going to the grocery store and you're at Walmart fighting for the aisles. That's the best way to explain Martinsville. I've heard drivers say that you know, racing in Bristol is like racing in a, I mean, even the late great Benny Parsons used to say this. Racing here at Bristol is like racing in a toilet bowl. Because you don't never know what driver is going to get into you. Ward Burton knows that very well with Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2002, Ward Burton and Dale Earnhardt Dale Jr. got into it. Now, they were interviewing Ward, and I don't know. Ward's like, well, I wish I had something I could have thrown at him and gave him a shot. But I wish I had something I could shot through the window. And that was what Ward said about Earnhardt. You know, I mean, he threw one of his heat shields into the driver window at Dale Jr. And Dale picks it up and goes, guess we got a souvenir. But anyway, my point to this is, I know how Bristol's changed. I know how it's not the same. If y'all think it is, great. If y'all don't think it's the same track, it needs to be modified again. And for God's sakes, let's not put dirt on the sun on it. Let's leave the dirt off. No dirt in Bristol. Keep the dirt off. I mean, keep Bristol the way it is. I mean, Bristol Motor Speedway does not need to be dirted anymore. You can only dirt shit till it's done. I mean, if it was a typical dirt track, I would have no problem with it. If that track was like Eldora or Knoxville in Iowa, that would be no problem. Because Knoxville, I forget what they call it. I think it's Knoxville Raceway, is a dirt track. It was born a dirt track, out of dirt. Never had a lick of asphalt on it since it was built. Always had dirt on it. Same with Eldora. Never had dirt on it the day it was built. Never had concrete or asphalt on it when the day it was built. But yeah, what do y'all think about the stages and stuff? I mean, just getting rid of the stages at road courses, I think is great. Let's get rid of it. Let's have one. Okay, here's the deal. Let's have one stage at all the other tracks. But 2 and 3, we eliminate. We have stage 1, you know, that's it. Caution break, stage break. I mean, I understand that the stages have points, you know, up to the first 10 drivers. I understand that. Or maybe it's, I don't know how much it is, but the point to this is, let's eliminate stages if we can. I mean, to an old fan like myself, they're completely pointless. But I mean, to somebody new, they may like them. I haven't liked them since the 5 years that NASCAR adapted them. I have been against them for the last 5 years. I'm over it. Like I said, it's lost its luster. It's lost its credibility. But anyway, it's the dirt track, boys. Next race for the last to get into the playoffs is Daytona coming up Saturday night. Anyway, what do you guys think of that? And who do you think will be in the final round of 16? Hopefully it'll be Chase Elliott, because Lord knows he hadn't won a race all season since he had his injury prior to California at Auto Club Speedway. But anyway, give me your thoughts on this, and we'll be around. I mean, like I said, we'll try to do some dirt track, and we'll try to go to Volunteer Speedway and show you that scoring pylon that I was talking about from Bristol from back in the day. And like I said, we'll be here for y'all. Again, this is Dirt Track Boys, and like I said, peace out, chicken grease. I love y'all, and we'll definitely try to get some more content out here for y'all. Hold on, I got one more thing for you before y'all go. Give me 1 second. I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but this is Dave Rudemann's 00 Michael Waltrip Racing Toyota Camry. Now I've dropped it. That's why it looks like it's been wrecked. I wish to God I didn't drop it. Anyway, this is the inside or the undercarriage of the old COT car. Now that's another car I just can't freaking stand. I'm sorry to say, but this damn wing right here caused the air to go up under the car. And what I'm talking about, the air going under the car, I'm talking about it had so much lift that it would literally lift up the car and make the car go up in the air. When the roof flaps came up and these cowls, when these right here came up, the car still had enough yaw to where it went up in the air. I hated that. I didn't like this car. But just ask Michael McDowell, that crash that he had in this car at Texas in a qualifying wreck. Qualifying at like 190 something. I think he was going 190 something. I believe it was 193 miles an hour. It was damn near 200 mile an hour. The car slid in oil or something that another car had laid down. Michael's car slid in something. We don't know what it was. I believe it was oil that was laid down by McMurray's car. Anyway, the car slid, came up the track, hit the wall, landed on the side of the car. I think it's still at the Nascar Hall of Fame. So if y'all are in North Carolina, in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, y'all can go and look and see what kind of damage it did to it. And it was wasn't this particular car, but it was the COT car. Anyway, the car went up in the air like it was, about ready to going to come down. It had that much air up under it, where the air lifted it with the roof flaps coming up. The air lifted it, and it lifted and flipped it. Flipped it on its roof. It flipped for like 6 times. And Michael, by his own power, undid the window net, gets out of the race car, and does this. I'm telling you, that's a testament to NASCAR safety. I mean, yeah, these things were about as ugly as I've ever seen them. But inside here, you can see the motor there. Like I said, I'm sorry his car's been hit, but I've been wrecked. Another thing I miss, I want y'all to see this. All these contingency sponsors on here. Panasonic, JVC, Sharp, Maytag, Mitsubishi Electric, Frigidaire, Sylvania, Dale, HP, Phillips, Aaron's Dream Machine. Over here on the B post, you got Tums, Napa, Coca-Cola, Toyota. And then down here on it, you got Jegs, Autometer, Coors Light, Pole, EA Sports, Mac Tools, TSOT, Mobile One, DirecTV, 3M, Holly Carbs, Mechanics Wear, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Goodyear Gatorback, Moog, Comp Cams, Edelbrock, JE Pistons, and Wix Filters, and Sunoco. And in Best Western, Safety Clean, and Sherwin-Williams Freightliner. But I mean, these are the sponsors I'm talking about. These are what you call contingency sponsors. If you look at a race car today, there are none. There are no other contingency sponsors on a race car. And I don't understand why there's no contingency sponsors on these race cars. But that, showing y'all this, is what we do here at Dirt Track Boys. And I know it's not the greatest looking NASCAR. I mean, it's not the best looking race car. But, and back here you got the deck lid and the fuel cell. Now, I don't know if y'all can tell this or not, but inside here, the ignition switches used to be, I'll try to do it like this so y'all can see it. Inside the race car, the ignition switches used to be on right there next to the driver. The driver would reach down and switch the switches in case one ignition failed. They have two boxes. Well, now NASCAR has made them put them up here. So if they have to switch boxes, now remember, this is part of the Gen 6 car. This is part of the, I believe this is part of the Gen 5 or Gen 6 car. I don't know. I think Gen 4, I don't remember. Anyway, basically, the boxes are now up here, so NASCAR can watch what you're doing when you're switching them. Now, any of y'all know what a fuel suppression system, what a fire suppression system is? You got the fire extinguisher behind the driver. Basically, if the car catches on fire, this switch can be pulled. I think it automatically pulls it. If there's smoke in the car or a fire, it can automatically be pulled and automatically let you put the fire out. Anyway, I just wanted to show y'all this and see what y'all think of the old Gen. I don't even know what Gen this is. I'm gonna quit saying that because I don't even know. I just wanted to show y'all the diecast of the Dave Rudiman. Dave Rudiman, Aaron's Dream Machine 00 2008 Toyota or 2007 Toyota Camry. Like I said, this is Dirt Track Boys, and like I said, we'll try to get more NASCAR videos out. And I hope y'all have a great week, and we'll try to catch up after Daytona. Again, Dirt Track Boys, and we're out.